Welcome to Spoken Sins, where if you give us 15 minutes, we'll show you a creator soul. I am Mr. Anderson, the voice of WrittenSins.com. And today on our show, we are thrilled to be joined by
Alexa Fox,
Sean Gilmour.
And many people think that Sean does not exist. I would like to dispel all rumors now that he doesn't. Rob, could you cut to live video of us to prove that Sean exists?
There we go.
All right, so there's Sean. See, he's real. The people that actually JP Palabon, who draws Danger Gliders, earnestly did not believe Sean was real until he started talking extensively to Sean on Facebook.
That wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, actually for many years, the entire art studio thought I had made Sean up and that he did not exist.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sean, I have a very powerful imagination, as evidenced by your presence here.
It's nice that you've created a person so well.
I know, right? I'm so impressed with myself. So the other thing we wanted to say is that when Rob was prepping us for this show, he basically said that his only purpose was to prevent dead air.
Which was a laugh.
Right, yeah, and otherwise he wouldn't really talk.
Knows very well.
Yeah, so when I told Sean about this, we just laughed, and we came up with this drinking game where every time Rob talks, we take a drink. So we're going to see if we can make it through this sober.
Starting now.
Right, yeah, so starting right now.
You drink.
This one's for you, Rob.
It's okay. We got this.
All right, so Sean, introduce our first topic.
All right. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the main theme of Danger Gliders, which is the book that we put out. One of the primary themes of the book is that no matter how small you are, you're not too small to make a difference. And it's about fighting issues that people kind of feel are maybe a little bit below the high-profile blockbuster movie type stuff that you maybe see in a lot of mainstream superhero comic books.
Right. So this concept is that you're never too small to face a big problem. And it actually has not come out yet, this issue, but there is a quote from Spanner which says, "Never focus on what you can't do. What you can do, no matter how small, can make a difference." And that was a message that we really wanted to teach to a younger generation and that we felt an older generation could be reminded of. And when we started writing this book, things were not as bad as they are. We were oddly prescient. And actually, what's kind of funny is we were in the next issue, we're going to have Widget working on some color night vision goggles. Well, guess what article I found? Someone's working on color night vision goggles, and they work pretty much the exact way that I predicted they would. That you can't really have color night vision. It's sort of artificial. It's a guess. So good for us. Yeah, so basically, the theme is it's about these 3 sugar gliders who are basically trying to save the world from various issues that, are of global concern. And it's kind of interesting because Sean and I have been writing together for a really long time. We've known each other for over 15 years now.
It's about 16 at this point.
16 years.
I counted I rounded to my birthday, and because that's the first C2E2 thing.
Yeah, and actually yesterday is the anniversary of the first time he and I ever actually met in real life, because we met each other on the web. So the internet is a powerful thing, and it's something else that we often like to reference in this work is the power of the internet. So yeah, it kind of ends up being like a figure skater relationship. Like they say that figure skaters can never skate with anyone else because at some point you've gotten so used to each other and you've learned to compensate so much for each other's weaknesses and strengths that you don't fit with anyone else. So we've entered into some kind of death pact at this point, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, stylistically, like we get to the point where we just sort of start to kind of mesh on wherever the other person is going, where we're on the same wavelength without even having to talk about it. We're sort of going in the same general direction. The details may not be exactly the same, but our thoughts for the overarching plot are kind of going in the same direction, and that's something that's kind of hard to put a value on.
The greatest gift is when you write a joke and then you come back and like the joke is funnier than you left it.
Yes, that's the best thing.
And like the double punchlines. Oh man, like you write a punchline and then one of us comes in and adds another punchline. That stuff is great.
And sometimes it's happening and we're not even realizing it. I'll go back and I'll edit something she said and I'll think, oh, this phrasing would be a little bit better. And I've accidentally created like a double joke in there. She'll say, oh, that's a great thing. I say, I didn't mean to do that at all. But that is great now that you mention it.
Yeah, Sean, I guess he's pretty great. I'm the Red Ranger. That's all I have to say here.
The Green Ranger was better. His Zord was better than all of theirs combined.
I don't even know what a Zord is.
Yeah.
We saw that movie. I still don't understand. Yeah, so yeah, I guess we want to talk a bit about our artistic process, which we've started talking about. So basically what we do is we start roughing a script, and the way we do it is depending on what kind of scene it is. If it's a talking scene, we actually write the key dialogue first, and then we write in the actions. But if it's an action scene, we write the actions and then we write the dialogue. And we do things like insert joke here with a note like, I know there's a joke in this. I know something about this is funny. I don't know what, but we'll think of it later. And we do put in filler dialogue, which sometimes we leave in until after the art comes in, and then we put in more substantive dialogue, which we've been doing on issue 4, and it upsets JP.
And
but sorry, JP.
Sometimes we end up with something completely different. Like remember in issue 2 with the smokestack? That scene got completely inverted.
Yeah, Rob, can you pull up the smokestack in issue 2? It's about halfway through. It's a halfway point.
That was
You're allowed to talk. We'll take a drink.
Yeah, I'm getting it now. Someone was just asking where they can get the to see this. The answer to that is dangergliders.com has the PDFs that you guys can look at. So from the chat room,
to read. It's a family title. Like I think as an adult you'll enjoy it. It's definitely keyed towards people that would have young kids now. So here we go.
Yeah, this is the one. This exact page.
Okay, yeah. So this page here that you see, originally it was supposed to be Spanner going down to the smokestack, and when I approved the pencils, they were rough. So at a very rough stage, like we just had the bodies of the gliders, so I couldn't tell them apart. They're not that different from this angle, because the hair isn't in there, the accessories aren't in there. So I approved it, and then JP finished the page and he swapped the gliders. And JP's like, "Oh, I'll go fix it." I'm like, "No, actually, this is funnier. Let's just put Jimmy out again. It's what we do. We like to torture Jimmy so much."
So what ended up happening was like I had woken up because I suffered from insomnia. I woke up at like 2:00 in the morning or something, and I was stumbling around. And you said, "Hey, there's this weird problem we ran into with this page," and you said, "We need a joke here. Like, just think about anything you can get." And I sort of just like scribbled down something like that. Here we go. Something going up in smoke and burning things, and I gave it to you, and you turned it into this. And I don't think we had a joke on this page before that.
No, we didn't. In fact, it was a silent page. It was just a silent, cool transitional page.
This whole page is an accident.
Would make a nice poster. This beautiful sunrise page. Yeah, that actually often happens. Sean gives me something incoherent, and then I spend a lot more time editing it into something coherent than he spent creating it, which is the creative process, just as much as my insert joke here. Yeah, so what else do we want to talk about, Sean?
We wanted to talk about a little bit about Jimmy and representation of characters.
Yeah, so issues like that. Okay, so to confirm for everyone who's been asking this, yes, Jimmy is female. And so then people ask, like, well, why didn't we give her, like hair? Like, basically, why doesn't she look like Gadget on the Rescue Rangers? And there's a good reason for that. Basically, what ends up happening is that when you do that, it's called otherification. So the male gliders are the norm. Like they look normal and regular, and then the female glider looks different and has like secondary humanoid sexual characteristics, which is really, really weird. And usually in response to that question, I just ask them like, well, why don't you ask me why Spanner and Widget don't have beards and like curly chest hair and like huge pecs? You know, it's the same thing, but we're so used to that. We're so accustomed to it that we ask, well, why doesn't the girl have eyelashes and a bust and like long flowing hair instead of, you know, well, why don't the dudes have beards if they're dudes? So like we just assume by default that a character is male until like some cue tells us they're not. So yeah, we decided not to conform.
And admittedly, like I see where some people are maybe getting misled by the name Jimmy, but it's not like a nickname for James, as a lot of people are probably assuming. You want to tell them what it means? Where the name comes from?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think we've all noticed that they're all named after tools. So when Jimmy calls Spanner a tool, that is pretty literal. You know, Spanner is a tool. A widget is also a generic name for a gadget. It's also a device called a devil's fork. Mm-hmm. Feel free to Google that. It's an MC Escher-esque drawing of an impossible object. And a Jimmy is also known as a Jim bar or a Slim Jim. So their tool basically references what it is they do on the team. And of course we were asked like, well, why don't you spell it with an I or an IE? And I'm like, well, then it would just be a girl named Jimmy and not a tool name. So right. No. And that's usually the end of that conversation.
Well, I mean, as it should be. I've had to argue with people a number of times on like the clarification of that, actually.
Yeah, some people are really angry that they can't tell what gender the characters are, and I'm like, they're cute animals. Like, why do you care? Why does it matter?
Like, if you saw a sugar glider in real life, could you immediately identify whether they were male or female without inspecting pretty closely?
No, absolutely not. They are not sexually dimorphic at all. Yeah, and like also as basically do look into the anatomy of sugar gliders. We're not going to tell you anything about it, but Google it and have fun, fan artists. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, and we may be mildly shocked and horrified, but you know, we support you.
And for the rest of you normal people, enjoy that lack of sleep that you'll be getting.
Yeah, or normal people, don't look it up. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. But
now you have to. It's in the back of your head.
Yeah,
you can't think of anything but that, and you're going to go look for it. So just don't say I didn't warn you. Just try to be productive with all those sleepless nights. Yeah,
so basically, so as much as we like to kind of hide social commentary, we like to hide other things. And so speaking about fan feedback, people keep mentioning a plot hole, which we won't tell you what the plot hole is. You've either seen it or you haven't. And what's really funny is that these super observant people haven't noticed some really obvious cues that we have hidden in both issues of the book, and they'll keep occurring in every issue that explain this plot hole. And sometimes it happens on the same page that the plot hole occurs. And we actually did a contest today. It was the Easter egg hunt. We thought that would be funny. And nobody won.
Nobody managed to spot what was wrong.
Yeah, and we actually, when we first put this detail in, we were concerned that we were being too obvious. That like people would spot it right away and they would guess like what was up. They would guess the whole plot. And then literal geniuses and like people that are experts in comic books have completely failed to notice this thing that, because of conservation of detail, should be meaningful. Like, there's no reason that we would include this if it didn't mean something. So keep looking, guys. Keep looking. Maybe someday someone will win. The contest is over, but if nobody's found it, we will eventually have another one before issue 9 when we finally reveal what this thing is.
We believe in you guys.
We do. We really do believe in you. Keep trying. Keep trying. And we're not going to tell you what the mystery prize was either. It was really super cool, and now you don't even get to know. So that's what you get for failing.
Next time we announce the contest with a mystery prize, try a little bit harder, and then you'll find out. But now you have to live with that unanswered question.
Yeah, that's really sad. So yeah, in conclusion, keep looking for it. The comics are available for free. You can find them on www.dangergliders.com. Issue number 3 is in rendering right now.
Mm.
So it'll be coming out very soon. And of course, it's got that Easter egg again. So we hope that somebody finds it and catches on. If you do think that you have found it, please message us. We have a Facebook page. We're Danger Gliders on Facebook. We're also at Danger Gliders on Twitter. So you can message us and tell us what you think you found. We have a really good time laughing about it over here. And that's 15 minutes, and
15 minutes and some change.
Yeah, and you only got to talk that one time, but
Yeah.
we're gonna drink a little bit anyway. So cheers.
We do whatever we want.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. That's right. A few questions. You guys don't mind.
Oh, not at all.
What are the long-term plans for this? Are we going to be able to see it come off of the website and actually go into print?
Yes. Our plan is to do collected editions of each story arc. So this first story is called Danger Gliders Uncapped. It has 5 parts. So when we get to the end of issue 5, we'll collect that. There's going to be 3 buffer issues before we go into the next major Gold Crown arc, which is called Tapped. So those 3 will be collected or maybe released as singles. We haven't decided. But we will be doing it. We don't really want to do a lot of singles. We want to do some trade paperbacks. We thought that would be a lot more accessible for our audience.
Let's be honest, like comic book fans, that's generally what they're doing anyway these days. They're picking up the TPBs off the shelves because they want to wait until that's all there for them.
Well, that in a lot of ways, we're not really competing for comic book readers. So many of the people that we have reading are people that don't read comics until now. Now they do. They read our comic. So we wanted to make something that would be very accessible for them.
Now, will you guys actually be using a different format to print to actually showcase the art? Because the way you guys set it up is beautiful, but it doesn't fit a standard, platform of a comic book. Would there be?
It does. Take a regular comic book, turn it 90 degrees, the spine will be at the top, and a 2-page spread is stacked vertically.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, we did do it in 16 by 9 because that is the way of the future. And we thought it would be interesting, like having a wide page versus a tall page really changes how you handle action. And because they're gliders and they glide, having a lot of horizontal space actually made a lot of sense.
Well, it comes out beautifully in the format that you guys did pick. So, credit to you and credit to the whole team for bringing this together. Speaking of the team, who is the team? Do you guys want to take a minute and just go down everyone who works on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have JP Palabon, who is our line artist. Basically, I did a lot of the original design work and then kicked it back and forth with him. He did the final designs, and I do some of the page layouts, but most of it's JP. Issue 1 and issue 2 have a bunch of JM Valenzuela. He is no longer with us. He moved on to another job. But JM is there in the first 2 issues. He's not in issue 3. So expect some changes to the gliders models in issue 3. These other people, so Roy Canless and JP Palabon again for colors. JP does the flats to make sure that everything is colored correctly, that the markings on the gliders are all right. And then Roy is our renderer. All that awesome, like any kind of special effects stuff you see, like the VR or the computer screens, or all of those great Gold Crown ads, all of that's done by our letterer, John Zamar, who is also our business manager, and pretty much he's sort of a force that keeps me sane. He does a lot of the things organizationally that I do not have time to do. And then of course there's Sean, who does what do you do again?
That's a very good question. Well, for one thing, I do this. I help you fill 15 minutes when you get called onto random podcasts and create drinking challenges for yourself. But generally speaking, I am her co-writer, and I help her with the general creative process.
Well, yeah, anytime I go into a tailspin where I'm like, is this, going too far or not too far enough? He's usually there to offer me that second opinion.
That's true.
So a lot of the very daring decisions you see in Danger Gliders were made possible by Sean, telling me that, yes, this is a good idea. Listen to your shoulder, devil. And so I do. I mean, the entire first issue, the second half of that was just my shoulder devil going, how can we make this worse? Is that bad enough? No, let's make it even worse.
You know what? I did help you when we had to go back to the drawing board and rewrite issue 1. That's true.
No, that's true. We actually went through a lot of drafts of the first story, just figuring out what a Danger Glider story is supposed to feel like, how it's supposed to be paced, what the emotional notes were going to be. Now it's pretty easy to write them, but our early work does not resemble this very much.
No.
We originally had, there are characters that we'll introduce you to later that we originally had in the first 2 issues, and it was too much. We wanted to spend some time really getting to know, Spanner and Jimmy, and eventually we'll get to know Widget a bit better. So yeah, we slowed that down. I'm sorry, what was your question again? It was, what does everybody do? I'm the one that goes on for a really long time. The only person better at me, better than me at filling space is my mentor. So that would be Paul Levitz. We were once on the phone and he was telling me a story or something and we got disconnected. And he finally called me back like minutes later. And I'm like, how long did you keep going before you realized I wasn't there? And it was a while. It was a while. Are you still there, Rob?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Right. Okay. Drinking.
So now the most important question of the night has to be, when is issue or the 3rd installment coming out?
When it's done. So I expect in the next couple of weeks. We're rendering it now. There are some special lighting effects. I don't know if you noticed things like our kind of evil gold crown red glow. But there's all kinds of things like that we have to make sure are in the issue for it to make sense and for things to be thematically consistent. It is really weird looking at like this older art because the models have changed so much by issue 3. Like I noticed that like everybody's snouts are longer. They get shorter and cuter.
That's true. More accurate, really.
Yeah, it basically just had to do with how our finishing process worked. These are actually not accurate to the models that we had, and we went back to the original model. So that's something that we're very happy with. Like, we really like the art in number 3. I think you're going to like it. Like, if you like what you've seen so far, 3 is so much better. I mean, JP is a genius. We'll say that like 3 times and hope it makes him work faster. JP, you are a genius. JP, seriously, you're a genius. No, really, you're a genius, JP. Work hard. Work hard.
I hope this works like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I wish that we could summon JP. It would be great to have him on one of these with us.
Oh, yeah.
Filipino internet is not great, so we could try someday, but it might be very bad.
Worst case scenario, we could get like a mannequin and sort of like paste his face to it and like do a little ventriloquist deal.
Oh God, I don't know. JP would hate that or he'd probably love it. He's the one that
he would love.
He's the one that showed me "Don't hug me, I'm scared." I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
And now sometimes my feedback is just green is not a creative color. It's not. Green is not a creative color, Sean. Green is Sean's favorite color, but it's not creative.
She's just mad because the Green Ranger is the superior Ranger.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
All right, guys, we're about to go off air. Is there anything you want to say in closing to your fans and people who haven't seen the project before, like an elevator pitch to sell it to them, to make them want to read it?
This is something that you can share with your parents, with your kids. It spans generations. It's really, it's just a great adventure. People so far have loved it. It's great for first-time readers. It's great for readers who are so jaded and burned out now that they don't like anything. And it's free. So what have you got to lose? Go to our website, www.dangergliders.com, and give it a chance.
Free is the best price.
Now, on our chat, too, for Facebook, someone was asking, the creator of The Shepherd, really great guy, wants to know if you guys have the publisher yet.
We are our own publisher. If he's got an offer for us, we're always interested in money. We like money.
It's the favorite.
And we give stuff away for free, but the long goal is money.
I have to eat. I can eat a lot.
Yeah, are there any other questions that we should answer?
No, I looked through. I think that's pretty good. You got a lot of compliments. People said that the art is amazing. They commented this was excellent work, and I have to agree. Honestly, I was stunned at how beautiful it was and shocked it was being given away for free because the quality is just outstanding.
Well, thank you. We try really hard. Like, this is something that we really care about. Like, we really love these characters. They're, at the risk of sounding crazy, at this point, they are a lot like real people to us. We spend way too much time we spend more time thinking about them than we do about actual living people that we know.
That's probably true.
Yeah, it's probably not healthy, but it's entertaining.
We still love all of you guys. I promise.
Yeah, we totally love you, just not as much as the gliders. Oh yeah, so Rob, which one's your favorite glider?
That's hard because each one's different. I like the paranoia that what's his name has, the one who stays inside, the one we haven't gotten to know yet. He's got a smart ass.
Yeah. I'm glad that paranoia is the word you chose. That is exactly the word we were going for.
I kind of like him. It's like he's got a bigger plan going on. He's Batman in the Batcave, and he knows something no one else knows. And I really kind of liked him. But I like the dynamic of the two of them going out on adventures throughout the whole thing. And I like that Jimmy was, the name used. And I thought that was clever. And I didn't have it. Like, when you guys were talking about the issue, I was like, why would anyone have an issue? I didn't get that. I actually thought it was kind of cool that Jimmy was the name. I was like, oh, look at that. Something not basic and normal. And, something creative and fun. So, I mean, honestly, it's hard to pick a favorite because they've all got that very humanness to them. There's the cockiness. There's they want to get paid. What's the magic word? Money. I like the jokes in it. I've got a good sense of humor. I thought you guys did a fantastic job. Honestly, I can't wait for issue 3 to come out. See what happens.
So much. We love you too, Rob.
I mean, the art in it, the storytelling. If you guys aren't watching this and have this saved in your bookmarks, you guys are doing something wrong. But I'm going to get going before I start Alcoholic Anonymous to happen. You guys are great. Thank you for coming to Spoken Sins today. I know you guys are busy. Happy birthday, Sean.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you.
We want to have you guys back on when the 3rd one comes out so we could talk a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
Love to come back.
Oh, yeah. Issue 3 is going to be really fun. We promise. Yeah. It's got some cool stuff in it. And issue 4 it just gets better and better.
Been anticipating this one for a bit.
All right, guys. Well, with Easter coming tomorrow, happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
All right, guys.